So, hello everyone. Greetings from Milano, from the Parco Nord, where there will be the Climate Fest the coming days. My name is Miroslav. I'm with the International Association for the Advancement of Innovative Approaches to Global Challenges, and we have today a webinar about which my wonderful co-moderator Christina will say more.
Thank you very much, Miroslav. So I'm really happy to be here because we will be having an incredible discussion about very interesting topic, how technology is converging with the art and with green agenda. I think this is a very up to the point discussion, and also the one that is definitely very important to hold during these times because we are now reloading all the economy strategies, politics, green strategies, and this is very important for us now to talk about even greener future for us and for future generations. So I'm happy to be co-hosting this webinar in the context of the World Environment Day 2021, the International Year of a Creative Economy for Sustainable Development 2021, the All for Climate event series of the Italian co-presidency of the United Nations Climate Conference, COP26 this November, and the Climate Fest Milano 2021. I'm here with you from Venice, so also Italy, but we will have guests today from all over Europe. It's really very important for us to hold these global discussions. So the webinar today is organized by International Association for the Advancement of Innovative Approaches to Global Challenges, GLOCHA, Global Challenges Foundation, New York, in cooperation with United Nations Habitat Youth Program. And I'm happy to give the stage to Miroslav from IAI and GLOCHA, and Douglas Reagan from United Nations Habitat Youth Program. Please tell us about the goals of this webinar and your projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. I will now briefly say what the key messages of this event are, and then I'll be delighted to hand over to Doug, our main cooperation partner from UN Habitat Youth Program. So today's event has the title Digital Art for Climate, Harnessing the Potentials of Culture and Technology for Action for Climate Empowerment. And we are going to present today this Digital Art for Climate initiative and our partnerships and context. And the key messages that we have with this webinar are: first, we need more climate action because we are in a climate emergency already, in a climate crisis and on the way towards climate catastrophe. So we need to do something different. And in order to do something different and to get everyone engaged and inspired and touched emotionally, art and creative community can really be very important climate action empowerer. And the second element of the message that we have here is that if we use digital innovation, if we use blockchain technology to create digital collectibles out of conventional art, then we can create digital assets which can then be included in different value transfers in marketplaces, new forms of entrepreneurship models and digital currencies and much more. And this we want to explore with our initiative. We want to really merge the worlds of creative community and digital innovation community in order to get more climate action empowerment aligned and in partnership with UN organizations. And we will present today also those partnerships of our GLOCHA, Global Challenges Action Empowerment Consortium, or also known as the GLOCHA, Global Challenges Action Network. It's about youth empowerment, it's about building data and digital innovation infrastructure, and it's about the World Environment Situation Room, Youth Engagement Program, where we see a big need for resources, and with the new mechanism for resource mobilization based on digital art. We think that there can be channeled financial resources to this, and therefore we are presenting you the initiatives that also artists will know what for they are contributing in the initiative. And today's event shall show the potentials of the approach, present partners and beneficiaries of the campaign, and invite additional partners with software development capacity and with outreach capacity, so that we will set up a very successful campaign here. And with this, I give the floor to Doug Reagan. First Doug Reagan, and then I will also present Domenico Vito, our local partner, to say how we are connecting our work also with the Italian co-presidency. Somehow here in Milan, the whole world is looking at Milan as the center of the world in September, where young people from all over the world will come to work on new ways for youth empowerment. But first to Doug, thank you very much, Doug, for your cooperativeness, and we are very happy to have the honor and pleasure working with you. So please, Doug, your camera is off.
Thank you, Miro, and my camera is off? No, it's not.
No, now it's fine. Now it's fine.
My camera's on. Okay, thanks. Thank you very much, Miro. Thank you, Christina, and everybody who's helped host this event. We're really excited, I think, for a couple of reasons. One is just the promotion of young people and climate action, whether it be any age, but young people specifically. We think that young people are taking the lead in advocating for climate change globally. I think everyone recognizes it as a key issue, but young people are willing to really put it on the line to make it happen. We also really are looking to ways to leave no one behind, leave no young person behind. And we think that this initiative can be one area and one way in which we could do that. And the reason being that it's the biggest challenge for young people, especially in many of the places. So I work with UN Habitat. UN Habitat is in charge of cities and towns globally and sustainability as the UN, that's what we do as the UN agency. But what one of our main mandates is to work with young people in informal settlements and slums globally, of which there's almost 1 billion people, most of them young. And what our biggest challenge often is that they are also very concerned about climate change and the issues related to it. They want to find ways and to affect change, yet they can't, oftentimes because they are poor. I mean, they lack resources. So one of the things that we're hoping to do with this initiative is to be able to, one of the things that they create and what we know about young people globally, but also in the informal settlements, is that they are able to create art. Art is a low threshold, low barrier to be able to get involved in. There's some amazing art, which I will send some links to as we go through the event. I'll put some links up and that you can take a look at. And they do amazing work that all promotes and all focuses, a lot of it focuses on climate change and related issues. So we're hoping that we'll be able to digitize these. We're hoping that there will be that people around the world will be interested in donating, purchasing, and buying some of this art, which is really been very difficult for them to get to get people to recognize. So that's one area that we're very focused on doing. But in general as well, we're very excited about this event because again, it promotes young people's involvement in the critical issues of climate change. So again, thank you so much, Miro, for having us as a partner again, and we'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. And in terms of partners, I would like also to introduce now Domenico Vito, from the climate leader here in Milano with several institutional affiliations, a young leader demonstrating who are we working for and with.
Thank you, Miro. Thank you, Miro. Yes, we are here in Milan at Parco Nord, and we are streaming from the Climate Fest, that is a global festival that is collecting a lot of environmental association here from Milan that are like, of course, preparing for the pre-COP event. And so very glad to join this event with Miro and all the partners, and hope that we can together explore more the digital opportunities also for youth and also for the digital art. So Miro, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Before we go then to our wonderful guests and speakers, I would like also to show a short video, somehow words of inspiration, of digital, about the climate warrior and indigenous youth who we have had at one of our events at the COP21, the United Nations Climate Change Conference in 2015, where the world agreed to have a more bold climate action. And I really think that this video already shows the power of art and new inspiration that the world needs to get towards more ambitious climate action. And now let's listen to Jutesca Martinez, Earth Guardian, back in 2015 at our IAI Gotcha.
Right now, I'll do one. Okay, so this is part of a song called "Who Am I." It goes, "Who am I? I'm an indigenous warrior, fighting for my world and protecting my culture. I look outside at the world around me. I embrace this moment and live life happily. I listen to the music of life, divine sounds. I soar with my dreams as I fly off the ground. Connected so deeply with all that I see, I feel the movement of the universe in each passing breeze. I can gaze at the stars, never-ending cosmic essence. Feel the rotation of the earth is spiritual presence. The earth mother shares her wisdom through me to create a world that is united and free. Who am I? Who could I really be? Cause if I find myself, I will be set free. Let go of the past, forget about the future. Live in the present, reconnect with your culture. So quiet your minds, let all things go. MCs paint pictures with words like Van Gogh. Live your life like an artist and reach for the stars. You will find within yourself who you are. So open your eyes, take in the world around you. Listen to the hum of the world, pay attention to the sounds too. Breathe the clean air like it's your last breath. Fly like an eagle, plant your dreams in the earth. Cultivate the creativity of conscious poetry. When you hear this conscious flow right away, you will know it's me. The life that we have is simply a miracle. What you choose to do with it is entirely up to you. One person, yeah, one person can cause the seas to rise, the water to run dry, or bring hope to someone's eyes. Cause the smallest of actions can make the greatest of difference. And believe in who you are, don't let anyone tell you different. Who am I? And I bet that is one of the first hip-hop verses that has ever been spit in the blue zone of the United Nations COP21 summit, so I'm happy to be making history. But yeah, music is powerful. Music gets people excited. Even if you're not a hip-hop fan, it's about the message that we bring here. I'm excited to engage, participate through this message that I'm bringing through my music, my words, my passion, my intuition. There's so much love and so much amazing energy in this room and in this event. And cultivating and picking out, it can seem pretty like dismal sometimes, and like everybody's walking around in suits and in these really important meetings. But don't forget to take time to like understand how important this moment is and how important each and every one of you is to this moment. And to this point in time, we are making history. We are here making history. All eyes are on us. Not just the leaders, but the people. We are the people. We are the ones that they are looking for to make the change. Each and every one of us is a part of this movement, part of this revolution, and part of the change that we will see. Regardless of what the leaders and the decisions that they make, the people will continue to push forward in our movement, and that is why I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah, so this was Jutesca Martinez back in December 2015, and we have still from there the task to really deliver better, and a leader in this field of delivering all of society climate action empowerment is Tali Böger-Bauer from the Austrian Ministry for Climate Action, and also Ambassador for Action for Climate Empowerment Program of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and in somehow initiator and coordinator of the Action for Climate Empowerment Innovation Program, ACE-AT. Dali, you are also a strong background in music and arts, but you will tell us more about your approach to these ideas of getting more art and more innovation in all of society climate action empowerment.
Thank you, Miro, and thanks to all of you for having invited me to this amazing event. Thank you very much to the organizers and hosts of this highly interesting webinar. I'm really thrilled to learn more about your initiative to support Action for Climate Empowerment and to empower people to be engaged for climate action. I think all of us, we have a common goal. One is we need to empower more people to engage for climate action. And secondly, we would like to engage more stakeholders within the UNFCCC process, but also beyond the process. And I think together we can solve the big challenge of tackling climate change. This initiative, what I have heard, what will be presented today, is very valuable. Why? Because at the very end of the day, there always remains a question open. Do we have enough financial resources to support all these activities and people who want to engage? And I think art is a very, very interesting field where people can do so many things to, yes, to fundraise, and furthermore also to express what they want to tell the public and friends and everyone. The young colleague, what we have seen in this interesting short video clip, he said a very important sentence. It's about the message, what we want to deliver. And by the way, I'm also director for external affairs of the International Association for Promotion for Culture and Music. And we joined the highly interesting initiative of the UNFCCC, of the UN, the so-called Beethoven Pastoral Project. It was launched last year. Oh my God, because of COVID, my understanding of time is a little bit disturbed somehow. But I think it was last year in 2019. However, it was highly, highly successful. Many, many musicians, artists, singers, they joined. They supported Action for Climate Empowerment. They supported climate action in general. And I'm really curious and looking forward to hear what today will be discussed and presented. And I hope that I can also do my best to support you in this engagement. Thanks, Miro. Thanks again to all of you. And I'm thrilled to hear more about this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dali. Christina, will you introduce our next guest? You are muted.
Thank you, Miroslav. Yes, I'm really happy to introduce the next speaker today, Raymond Lanvelde from United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, New York office. And we will be eager to learn more about UNCTAD's approach to engagement of creative community in Sustainable Development Goals implementation. Hi, Ramon.
Thank you very much, Christina, and thanks to Blocha and Habitat Youth to invite me to speak here today. So UNCTAD started like in 2004 with working on creative economy by a decision of the Secretary General. And that program was confirmed later during the 2004 and all other quadrennial conferences that UNCTAD has. Every 4 years, UNCTAD has a ministerial conference that gives it mandate to work on research and policy analysis, to do consensus building and technical cooperation. So by starting the work on creative economy, UNCTAD brought this work to the world, to the World Economic and Development Agenda through the core focus of trade and creative goods and services. I would like to invite everybody, since I don't have so much time, to look at the UNCTAD website and especially go see at UNCTAD Stat, the statistics that will show that creative economy has been growing rapidly more than other economic sectors lately. But then, and this is why the Indonesia government took the decision to have the first World Conference on Creative Economy in 2018. And that is where the idea came about to come up with a UN resolution. And in 2019, sponsored by 81 countries and supported by all the countries, the United Nations General Assembly adopted this resolution that created this year to make it the International Year of Creative Economy. And the resolution is encouraging everyone to observe the years in accordance with your priorities and to raise awareness about it, to promote cooperation, networking, and encouraging the sharing of best practices and experiences, and to enhance the human resource capacity, promote an enabling environment at all levels so we can tackle the challenges of creative economy. And now that we have the year, creative economy contributes to all SDGs. I could pick any SDG that you would pick. You can find something where the creativity contribute to that. If you look at education, we're talking about young people today. If you look at gender, if you look at employment, economic growth, industrialization, especially industrialization, when you talk about climate change, which is at the center of what we're discussing today, you need the creativity to design new ways to produce that will cut out waste, that will cut out pollution, new ways, and young people are very central in that, for designing new architectures for building that will have less emission and those kind of things. It all starts with creativity. The year also helped to link local producers of crafts to global market, to such projects that aim to developing them focused on the crafts contribution to institutional capacity building, to manage their community, but also to help manage natural resources while supporting the vulnerable part of population. I just saw the young man from the indigenous people community that spoke 6 years ago at the Paris conference. So when we started tracking creative economy, I said already 20 years ago, it showed the huge growth. And that's why also the pandemic badly hit creative economy when it happened, because like 30 million people is employed in this sector, mostly young people that lost income and so on. On the other hand, the creative economy is also a solution to more sustainable, inclusive, and equitable and resilient recovery from the pandemic. Like I just gave the example on how you can connect it to climate and inclusive sectors. The digital part of technology and creative economy also give great opportunity. For instance, the digital distribution in industries such as design and music has transformed global markets and allowed new industries and consumers to emerge in developing countries like in Africa and in Asia. It also helped with intellectual property in many least developed countries. So we congratulate you with this initiative on creative economy and the digital art, and how that will involve young people, because young people are more open to new lifestyles, sustainable lifestyles. They are more entrepreneurial, and they are more open to new business models and new ways of thinking that can help to use their talents and resources to improve their own lives and communities and environment. So we have the year, and I will conclude with highlighting some of the activities that you need to look for at the UNCTAD 15 conference that will be in October. There is going to be a creative industries forum looking at the contribution of creative economy and including digital art and so on. And then there is going to be the second World Conference on Creative Economy in Abu Dhabi. Because of the pandemic, everything went online. That is also, a contribution of creative economy. And then because of the resolution, we have to produce a report as UNCTAD at the end to report everything. So I invite, if you had not done so, to link your activity also to the celebration of the International Year. We are having the Creative Economy Network, which you could join through the Facebook group or through the platform. You could, if you check the UNCTAD website. So we will take this work of the International Year, we will take it further, because through that website, we proactively facilitate the sharing of knowledge and best practices. So it has been an honor for me to speak at this webinar, and I thank you for allowing UNCTAD to make this contribution, and wish you a very successful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Raymond. I think that's really a very important point. I've been working in the blockchain industry for a few years at Cointelegraph, and I see that young people have this potential of not only creating these new technologies, business models, and adapt to these global challenges that are happening so quickly, but also they are more quick in envisioning the future. And it's really very important for those who are involved into climate change agenda to work with young people, because these are those who get the most potential to move quickly. So I'm happy to invite our next speaker, who actually will talk about a marketplace for action for climate empowerment. Timothy Damon from the Global Youth Development Institute. Really very eager to know, how do you interact with youth, and what are your highlights in this matter?
Grazie, Cristina. So very happy to be here. Thank you as well, Miro, and everyone for this excellent event, and I'm very happy to join you. So this concept of an ACE marketplace. Well, to start off, let's consider, as some speakers previously have already alluded, why does it even matter that we have this resource mobilization targeting specifically youth and their empowerment? Well, young people are already there. They're innovators. They're coming up with new policy solutions, new projects. They're creating NGOs and organizations. So there's a lot of intellectual capital that young people are bringing to the table. And yet, the barriers then, as I already mentioned, often come down to financial resources or other technical resources and support. And of course, it's very hard to be an entrepreneur or an innovator at any age, but especially for young people. And so those barriers and challenges and lack of investment in that area are then holding back a lot of this amazing progress that we could be having. And many of these young people still, are pursuing these ideas as a passion project on a completely voluntary basis. But then, of course, they're lacking the ability to scale up that work, even with whatever successes they can have. So how then do we get money to those young people and their great innovative projects? Well, one solution for that then is to create an ACE marketplace. And what that is essentially a way to link the supply of financial resources with the demand of young people, young innovators. It simply would be a platform where these young people would be able to showcase their project proposals or other projects that they have to scale up or develop, and then link those with potential funding sources or to raise money from other sources, which can then go to support such a marketplace of projects. And this also has additional benefits beyond just the individual projects that would be funded, because then you are also helping to centralize and build more cohesion between all these ACE-related activities. Because one of the other challenges that we see right now is that all these activities tend to be very spread apart, and it's hard to track and even know what's going on. This is a challenge even, for the UN climate change process, where governments and other stakeholders are still wondering, how do we keep track of what's going on so that we can try to promote it and scale up ambition in a systemic, efficient manner. So by having this marketplace as well, you're helping to centralize those projects. And then this fosters more collaboration as well, because if young people are seeing that they want to do a similar kind of project in the same area as other young people, then they're going to be able to link together. And as well, this will foster the exchange of best practices. I go to put a project on the marketplace, and I'm encountering difficulties in it, but then I see someone else has, successfully done a similar kind of project. It's going to help me to be able to reach out to them and, take advantage of their best practices. And that will especially help young people, as well as, again, one of those barriers is that, they may be lacking sort of the startup level of experience that they need. So, all right, marketplace makes sense. We do that. How do we get the money for it? Well, that's where we link into, today's, creative economy, digital art auction aspect, is that this would be a very powerful way to channel resources into this kind of a marketplace alongside of, many potential sources that could be channeled toward this, but to really leverage that power of art and culture and those aspects which are so crucial in society, and to channel those resources then toward tangible, concrete climate action. And so it's pretty straightforward how this would all be able to come together, and this is why we should really put forth the initial investment to create this marketplace, to create the digital art auction, and again, through that, to be, as was said, helping the young artists as well, who would also benefit from this platform, because then they're selling that art, and then they're also having a social impact through that art that they're selling. So it's really a win-win for everyone. And just then the final case for, why does this, action for climate empowerment even matter? Why is this worth the investment? Well, we need to transform society, and that won't be achieved only through technological transformations. Ultimately, we need to transform the people to a new sustainable way of living. And that's really what education, training, public awareness, public participation, access to information, all these elements of ACE are all crucial to that work. And we really need to be putting the investment there as well, and especially into the hands of the young, upcoming, and eventually future generations who are so well positioned to really deliver this and help society to push forward in the innovation that we need. So with that, you see how young people need the resources. ACE Marketplace will facilitate that to happen. Digital art auction will support everyone involved toward that goal. And Action for Climate Empowerment as a whole will bring us all closer toward the Sustainable 2030 Agenda, the Paris goals, the direction humanity needs to go in. And with that, thank you so much again for having me. And if there are any questions, happy to also answer those on the side. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. I would just like to mention that all who watch us at different channels, please leave your questions, and we'll be happy to discuss those questions with the speakers, maybe during the event or after the event. So please don't hesitate to ask whatever you want. Miroslav?
Yeah, thank you very much. So really wonderful to have you with us, Tim, as a representative of the young generation who is standing ready to take action but needs empowerment, and this empowerment can come in the kind of inspiration by art, but especially also with financial resources. And we are going to help to transform also these creative assets into financial resources, which then young people will turn into climate action and climate action impact. And as the audience might have already heard, we are looking at a systemic approach. We really love the UN system. We want to connect and complement and support the UN system. We have registered this event also with UNCTAD, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development Goals. And we are very active in the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change process. And also Tom Baumann, the co-chair of the Climate Change Coalition, is heavily involved in the supporting, in working with the UN system, with the Climate Change Secretariat, towards having effective structures for climate action empowerment. And Tom, please tell us a little bit about your vision of what kind of infrastructure would be needed, and somehow also with the rationale that if we succeed with our resource mobilization efforts here, that these are the kind of initiatives that we want to channel the mobilized resources to. It's the ACE Action for Climate Empowerment Marketplace, which will benefit also from the whole dynamics of a digital art for climate marketplace based on NFTs, blockchain, digital collectibles. It's a data and digital innovation infrastructure that Tom will talk about, and we will hear later also about the World Environment Situation Room and its youth engagement program. These are our three flagship initiatives that we really are eager to bring financial resources towards, also in partnership with our Global Challenges Action Empowerment Consortium. And with this, I hand over to Tom, and perhaps also to inform, I'm also involved with Climate Change Coalition as a strategic director. I'm very happy and proud to have this opportunity with you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Miroslav. If I could share my screen, please, because I did make a drawing, my own art here. I'll see if I get this right.
Please share your screen. We will see whether it will be possible.
I think here it is.
Okay.
Please let me know if it comes up.
Yes, it comes.
Great. Thanks again for inviting me. Hello, everyone from Ottawa, Canada. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Climate Change Coalition, which is an open global multi-stakeholder network that was established in 2017 with the UN Climate Change Secretariat as co-chair. And I'm particularly excited about today's event, partly because I get to show off some of my own work, but more really to many of the other speakers' points. I have a teenage daughter who is a young graphic artist. I would love for her to get involved. I know she does a lot of horses and Japanese cartoons I see a lot of, but she's getting to the point where she should be able to contribute more to this cause that's such a big issue for everyone, and particularly youths. Let's see if I can get to the next slide. So the Climate Change Coalition is almost 4 years old now. There's 250 plus organizations in 50 countries around the world. About half of the members are digital innovators, and the other half are from governments, NGOs, academia, industry, and others, all coming together to help advance digital solutions, broadly speaking, across the challenges for climate. And that's not simply a technological challenge, it is also a non-technological challenge. And that's why this concept of an innovation infrastructure is so important to our success. And so I know I'm short on time here, so I'll go straight to my artistic attempts here to really lay out this relatively complex vision and invite use and people who are much more artistically capable than myself to attempt to take this complexity and present it through digital art in ways that can motivate the various types of stakeholders. And in fact, on the one side, the climate community with an array of issues, nature-based solutions, mitigation and adaptation, renewable power, and so on. I've worked in that community for over 20 years. And on the other side, the digital community, IoT, Internet of Things, and data marketplaces, and artificial intelligence, and blockchain, and on and on and on. And I've worked in that space for 10 years. Trying to have those communities connect has been a challenge because they speak different languages, they understand things differently. And not only are we trying to bring together these communities, but doing so by taking those innovations, say the hard climate technologies and the hardware and digital technologies, with the not hard in terms of hardware, but the innovations for financial, governance, and social that really elevate these tools or hardware into scalable, high impact, high participatory systems that will achieve the climate impact benefits of a society-wide mobilization, not only of the resources, but of people's energies and desires to make a sustainable world happen. So this innovation infrastructure is really meant to take these tools from climate and digital through innovative ways for people to interact in distributed and decentralized ways, sort of using the ethos of distributed ledger technologies and open data and all of that to support change agents to be more empowered in identifying climate actions that are not only sort of technology fixes, but they also support a multitude of goals, such as just transition and a more sustainable society overall that's more equitable as well, because that's a fundamental part of sustainability. And lastly, I would say the transformational change that we would like to see in the real economy externally really begins with transformational change internally, like behavior change and value change, and how we see ourselves as a post-industrial society that is much more about human values and valuing the planet, and really flipping around the arrangement with these technologies to whereas the technologies and sometimes own us, we're more in charge of these technologies. So I hope this figure helps to get some ideas flowing, and that we get to see some really interesting digital art coming from or following this event. If you would like to learn more about the Climate Change Coalition, there's a variety of ways that you could reach out to us, and happy to share this presentation afterwards. Thanks very much, Miroslav, and everyone for the time to talk today.
Thank you so much, Tom. I think that's really very important that we are not talking here about technological developments, but also about changes in the values of the society, of the future generations, and how we actually review our vision of all this imagined order where we are living in, that is economy, how we interact with money, how we interact among us. And that's really very important that the green agenda enters this much more complex set of discussions than just the technological developments. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're on mute, Miroslav.
Doug, would you share some brief information about the World Environment Situation Room? Because it seems that Alex is not able to join, and but it's also one of the flagship initiatives, which I think certainly deserve also more attention and more support on all levels, including support from creative community and financial support. You are muted. So we cannot hear you, Doug. In that case, I think we should now invite Catherine and Priscilla from the Social Alpha Foundation and Open Earth Foundation, who have demonstrated that this kind of mechanics to partner with the creative community, to mobilize resources, to get more impactful and really systemic solutions for effective climate action. This works, and really congratulations to the success that you have had with your work in this field. And we would be very grateful and happy if you could share your experience, lessons learned, and also how this could then be used also for the DigitalArt4Climate initiative that we are now setting up.
Sure. Priscilla, I'll go first if that's all right, and segue into a great introduction to yourself.
Sounds great.
All right. I can also share my screen here. I just wanted to give a little bit of background. So I'm working with Open Earth Foundation, which is a not-for-profit founded by Martin Weinstein, an umbrella foundation for initiatives that sort of emerged out of Yale Open Lab, as well as some of the initiatives that I've been building out independently. And I'm also a fellow with the Social Alpha Foundation, which I'll introduce at the end of my little spiel here. As well as I'm a UN, the lead for the UN task force on digital financing of the SDGs, working on 3 technical papers there about the impact of big tech on developing countries. And so all of that bears in mind here. But if you bear with me, I want to provide just a few points of my own background as they relate to digital art and the ACE platform and marketplace, with a particular focus on radical collaboration and youth engagement. I'm from a northern community of Canada with a Métis background, and I pursued environmental science along with art, photography, and communications because I thought it was absolutely essential for Canadians in the room. I wanted to be the next David Suzuki. And I even did a film for the UN in the Year of Youth in 1986. I went on to be a Canadian diplomat on climate change and human security. And on the human security agenda in the late 90s, which involved conflict diamonds, landmines, child soldiers, children in conflict, we successfully launched a radical approach to including youth, not as experts, not as voices, but as actual delegates at the UN General Assembly. And in concrete projects in peace building and post-conflict reconstruction. And to me, climate is a part of that. Art was also a key platform in the International Conference on War-Affected Children and Child Soldiers, which brought together youth delegates, musicians, artists, to really advocate for peace building and conflict and even climate scenarios that were leading to these to ensure youth engagement as experts. Children as young as 13 were leading households, so they needed to be part of the reconstruction. So fast forward, and today I'm in these wonderful roles and building also out a lot of pro bono initiatives And just because of that advocacy for this type of radical collaboration and creativity. And I was previously a lead with the European Climate Kick as well before embarking on these new ventures. But it's that diverse and collaborative and artistic spirit that I want to bring to this initiative. Climate, as I said, was already noted as a driver of conflict and is now viewed as a global crisis that needs diverse engagement and creativity. With Open Earth Foundation and the Social Alpha Foundation, we created Carbon Drop, which I'm sharing on my screen, which showcased a community effort, basically, focused on NFT, digital art, and radical collaboration for climate. There were 8 artists who donated their proceeds from their original climate-themed work, including Beeple, Refik Anadol, who I believe there is an exhibit of his work right now in Milan, if you have a chance to go and see it. And we highlighted, this was highlighted, of course, by Beeple, Mike Winkelmann's Oceanfront, which sold for $6 million to Tron founder Justin Sun. Now, Social Alpha initiated and co-organized the auction and fundraiser, while Nifty Gateway, the largest NFT marketplace, hosted and waived all the platform fees for the auction. It was also sponsored by Render Token, which did the carbon offsets that allowed the auction to have a net negative carbon emissions. But the artists also created a 7-step action plan to make the NFT space carbon negative, so going beyond offsets. And this is actually online at the Carbon Drop website as well. So this segues directly to the ACE platform and marketplace, to what I hope to bring, and I think Priscilla as well. So I want to now leave the space for Priscilla to talk about Social Alpha Foundation.
And I really appreciate the opportunity to represent Social Alpha Foundation and talk a little bit about our organization and our partnership with Open Earth. And I just love this whole entire intersection between youth and digital art, and really the opportunity to help support climate action. Social Alpha Foundation is really focused in a few key areas. Both in education and awareness in the blockchain sector, as it can impact and leverage opportunities in the social sector, as well as offering grants to those projects in the blockchain that use blockchain in the social sector, and specifically leveraging we had our first round of grants, and our next round of grants will be coming up. We're actively soliciting nominations, really specifically focused on this idea of climate action. And so I just love this initiative that I'm part of now, and I'm so happy to participate in this idea of digital art and how it can how our youth can really help to support climate action, and just really happy to be part of this and hope to help support it, as we did, as we partnered with Open Earth, and really look forward to working on this project with all of you.
Muted again, Miro.
Muted again. Christina, please, you take the lead.
Well, thank you very much. I think that's really exciting that so many interesting things are happening in the space, and yes, this convergence of youth, art, technology, blockchain, climate change. That's really exciting. Thank you so much, Catherine and Priscilla. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm happy to proceed. Miro, are we going to the next section of the event?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll now see the call launch of the DigitalArt4Climate, and the presentation of the roadmap of this very exciting, fascinating project. Miroslav, do we have everyone on? Okay, Domenica is here with you. Irina, hi, Irina. I'm happy to give you the floor, Miroslav. So please tell us a little bit more about digital art for climate, and what call for action you are prepared for artists and young developers and designers.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Christina, and also thanks to Catherine and Priscilla for their presentation before, because this was really inspiring to see how successfully they have implemented their initiative, and this gave thought also to us and inspiration to use this on a systemic level with our Digital Art for Climate initiative, through which we want to reach also young artists who perhaps don't have a lot of knowledge about blockchain or digitalization of art yet, but we will create an enabling ecosystem which will help these young people and members of the creative community around the world, that they will have an entry point how they can contribute their art in a way that it will contribute to climate goals, but also being also a new business model for artists also to engage. And I will share with you a little overview about our understanding of where the value of digital art is, what constitutes the value of digital art, and how this development of the ecosystem, blockchain-based ecosystem and registries and digital identity management and everything, how this can also be used in a next phase for creating a climate action stories and action impact marketplace that will really revolutionize how everyone can be engaged meaningfully and rewardingly in climate action. And so I will share now this overview, and also a great welcome, heartfelt welcome to Irina Karagiao from Unique Network. We've got in contact only recently, because when we looked into digital art for climate, we've then immediately got the sense that with this terrible carbon footprint of generation 2 blockchains, we cannot implement our ideas, because if we try to save the planet and at the same time with our activities destroy it, it's not a good deal. But Irina's proof of stake blockchains based on Polkadot and Kusama ecosystems are really perfect for us, and really very systemic development team, open-hearted and cooperative. We will hear about it in a minute. So let me share now my overview. It's as very often with my graphs, it's a little bit confusing perhaps, but it will be the basis for partnering and for trying to find partners. So the question is, what creates the value of digital art? Why are people ready to pay money for digital art, but on the other hand, they are not ready to pay for climate action? So how can we create an enabling ecosystem and platform and marketplace for digital art, where also people can participate who are artists but not yet in the digital world? And on the other hand, how can we learn for our climate action marketplace? So one dimension of value here is visual appearance in the digital space. That's obvious. And then the second element is the story. So if in visual art, it's a different thing, but if it's a video, if it's a text or so, there the story dimension, the heart power of an art is also a very important element. And for this, to document this, you cannot put everything into a smart contract of a non-fungible token. And therefore, there we are developing an additional communication channel, a social networking platform with True.net, which is also comparable also to Unique Network, the next generation of understanding how a digital ecosystem have to be built, which are compliant with GDPR and really treating users as partners and not exploiting their data. So there will be a possibility to tell the story about this art and also to create digital communities around these stories and the challenges that are addressed in these art pieces. Then one element, because many artists, we expect from the young artists that Doug is working with in the slums of Nairobi or whatever, they are used to create physically art murals, for instance, in slums, and we will have to create a mechanism which then creates out of this a digital twin, digital representation, digital asset, but also having an idea on how we manage the physical representation of the original art, so how to manage the custodians' rights and obligations, because Doug's idea was that we digitize the murals from slums and then really try to put it on a global marketplace, and that through this there could be a channeling of financial resources from global community towards local action that is relevant in Africa or in other places. And then the fourth element of value of digital art and also of certified climate action is that there is a clear mechanism to have certified provenance. Where does a certain certified digitized asset come from? Who has minted it? Who has approved it? Who has verified the claims that are there? And that's also a management of scarcity, which is very important in digital art, because you can replicate things. You can equal NFTs from the same piece of art and still selling it in a justified way, as long as it is clear that there are, for instance, 10 examples from a certain piece of art minted. And for this, you need a mechanism that people really trust the scarcity information and attribution of ownership, and also connected with digital IDs, digital communities, and associated intellectual property rights and copyrights. And for this, we are developing also a global registry. And this is really quite an endeavor. And for this first phase, for the first call that we are now starting with DigitalArt4Climate, where we wanted to present the selection of submissions in September in Milan, in the context of the pre-COP youth event of Italian COP co-presidency. We will have a very limited functionality and the different elements of this value chain separate, not interoperable and everything, but we will have registries, we will have the storytelling about the art and other quality assurance mechanisms. But to get this all rolling and to get also the basis for the ACE marketplace, this will be quite an investment, and which we are also aim for to mobilize with DigitalArt4Climate. And then we have 3 flagship initiatives for which we raise funding for the climate action story or impact, and the ACE marketplace, digital innovation community, with potentially also having a digital innovation pavilion at the next United Nations Climate Change Conference in November this year. If we are successful enough with fundraising, we have avenues how to get it done, and the World Environment Situation Room youth program. And the next step, with today's event, we are starting the process, we are presenting the rationale and our partners for this journey, and saying, extending the hand also to additional partners to join us. Please visit our homepage, blogger.org/DigitalArt4Climate. There you will find more information and also the forums to express your interest if you would like to be a strategic partner or an artist who has some ideas how we could develop this. And then in July we will have a hackathon, and Domenico will tell about it a little bit later. But now first we will speak with Irina, because the unique network platform has already wonderful solutions in place that we can say this digital art for climate. The basic elements are there. We can do a gallery, we can do a marketplace, and really start this process. And please, Irina, tell us about Unique Network NFT platform.
Thank you, Miro. Thank you for having me here today, and thank you for trusting us and choosing us as a partner for this fantastic initiative. Community really matters in the NFT space, and the technology is so young that we haven't really seen anything, because the recent 6 months of sort of mass adoption of NFTs was mainly about create an image, mint an image, sell an image. But Unique Network is here to explore more features and give more opportunities and power to the artists. And I will show a short presentation about our technical capacities. If you can see my screen. So Unique Network is an NFT chain for Kusama and Polkadot. Kusama, as you may possibly know, is an experimental chain and platform that is very similar to Polkadot and is considered to be a cousin blockchain, where younger projects, startups, have tools and economic possibility to experiment with different blockchain solutions. And Polkadot is already a more mature and stable and secure network, which provides a level of security similar to the banking transaction system. So Unique Network will first launch on Kusama Network in a couple of months, and yesterday one of our first parachains was successfully implemented. So we are very, very close to the launch of Kusama Network, which is big news for the Polkadot community. And so the environmental impact and the reason why we are discussing today this opportunity to be an infrastructure provider for such an important initiative, Art for Climate Change, is because Polkadot as well as Kusama both use proof of stake mechanism, which depends on direct economic incentives. So well-behaved validators and nominators receive rewards, and badly behaved nominators and validators who support to run the network are being slashed, so being sort of punished for not performing and executing the correct blocks. So as main difference with proof of work systems, in proof of stake blockchains, miners do not need to solve extremely complex puzzles to prove their work, meaning that we do not need as much computational power, which does not have such an impact on the environment, does not produce that much CO2, and is not as energy consuming as proof of work. In fact, many studies have shown that the effect and the CO2 production is close to zero. But as we do not have, an exact numbers as of today, there is no research published. We will be I will not say the exact links, but consequently, proof of work has shown its power in the industry, and proof of stake blockchains are emerging and are being chosen as the environmentally friendly blockchain solutions. So in Polkadot ecosystem, we use something as nominated proof of stake, which gives even more security, and its tools ranging from election theory to game theory, and help us to develop efficient validator selection process, to avoid uneven power and influence among validators. So it also solves the 51% attack problem in a proof of work environment. So Polkadot is a third generation blockchain, which gives us additional powers in terms of true interoperability, economic and transactional flexibility, and the framework on which this blockchain is built is called Substrate, which gives developers more opportunities and more possibilities to use different libraries and to use more elements to enable any economic solution and any technological solution that was not possible to create in the previous generation of blockchains. It's a forkless blockchain. We have shared security and independent governance and economics, and it is decentralized, of course. So unique network, as I mentioned, is an infrastructure, is this medium layer. So we are relying in terms of security on Polkadot and its relay chain. Then you have an infrastructure of unique network, which is a blockchain middleware, and we have basic functionalities that are already in place, which is maintain wallets, marketplaces, and smart contracts. They are available in Ethereum environment as well. And as the unique network, we believe that these tools should be available to every artist and free of charge. Therefore, we have an economic model that supports transactions for our partners. So you do not have to, as an artist, pay high transaction fees, gas fees, so known as gas fees. And it allows us to onboard as many users as possible and make this technology truly accessible to everyone. We also are working on advanced features which will enable really different ways of creating NFTs and different opportunities for artists to express themselves, which this advanced functionalities will include flexible economic models. So you can decide on royalties, you can decide on ownership structure, on the formats you would like to use, whether it's 3D, video, whether it's kind of a metaverse, immersive environment, whether you want to also be compatible with Ethereum space. It will also be possible thanks to the interoperability and the ability of Substrate framework to support Ethereum virtual machine and any known Ethereum formats for NFTs like 721, 1155, etc. And of course, one of the most important things is this ownership structure, which includes fungibility, refungibility mode. So with refungibility mode, you can own parts and pieces of NFTs. So you can create a single art piece and then sell or rent part of that art piece, which could absolutely amazingly work with galleries and exhibitions that now you do not have to transport your physical painting all the way to the other side of the world. You can instead just rent a digital NFT, expose it in a gallery for, let's say, a month, and then bring that token back to your wallet. So now what NFT really gives us is the opportunity to have your own digital marketplace in a wallet. And here is the example of what can be done pretty quickly. And this is unique collection of Cello bricks, a special collection for Polkadot Decoded 2021, which was airdropped to all the participants of Polkadot Decoded event. So this is something that can be done very easily. You just need to connect your Polkadot.js wallet and then have your gallery. And this solution we offer as a white label. So with the UI and UX tools, with the help of designers and creative people, all these elements and logos and the way this is present, the way you see the interface can be changed as you wish, as much as the creativity can flow. But as is, we can already, this is a good tool for me to show that you not necessarily need to create something very complex and sophisticated in order to start, selling art and use NFTs as a tool for fundraising or for supporting social cause. As it can be as simple as, you know, a piece of artwork created by a teenager somewhere in Delhi and sold on the marketplace, and then this fund can be used for purposes of education and further growth of these art initiatives. So there's a serious team behind the project. Alexander Mitrovic, who is the CEO with 20+ years of IT management, and Greg Zaitsev, who is our chief architect and CTO with 10+ years of enterprise architecture and 3 years in blockchain, as well as our amazing advisors who are Kusama Council members, game developers, and USTech developers has initially supported this project from day one, and the team has been building for already nearly 2 years. So Unique Network is a winner of Hakusama Hackathon for Polkadot. It's one of the recipients of the of 5 grants by Web3 Foundation, which were received and delivered. We use proof of concept with internal research and development. Unique Network is a stand, can be an independent chain on Substrate, not only parachain or parathread. Both our CEO and myself, we are a member of Kusama NFT strategy team and one of the initiators of the first ever crypto art exhibition in Beijing and Shanghai. And we are active in ecosystem in Parity and Web3, Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. So our art program includes, as I touched at the beginning of my presentation, economic models, where you can sponsor transactions, so a sponsor can decide to pay transaction for projects they onboard or artists they onboard. It can be structured in any way the owner of the gallery prefers. There are numerous formats that we can use: interactive, software, music, video. NFTs can be used as a part of the game, and this is actually an idea behind Unique Network big goal and big strategy, that NFT shouldn't only be an image, it should be something that can be used. And one of the use cases is nested NFT. Like Canary Network has created a collection of eggs. So you buy an egg in the form of NFT, then the bird appears out of that egg, and then you can create relationships between other birds. They fall in love, so they have feelings. You can exchange also monetary, build relations, and there are many different ways of interactions and building NFT relationships, such as composition, aggregation, generalization, etc. Again, going back to ownership structures, that we have refundable mode. An NFT can be used in financial ecosystem and DeFi space as a collateral to lend and borrow funds, to rent rights to display, etc. So also the big part of NFT sector is, of course, gaming program, and there is much more that can be done with the art that can be created by young artists, that they can use this art and these tools in the game and create as many ways of interaction as possible. So this is really the new age of NFTs, and we haven't really seen anything, as I've been repeating myself here, but it is very important to give tools and give opportunities to young artists to participate in this space, because we are living in the creative economy, in the creative world, and some of the brightest and most talented people oftentimes do not have access to big galleries or do not have access to mentors and curators just because they are living in not in capital cities, or everything they have is on internet. And NFTs are so powerful in this respect that anybody who has access to internet or has access to mobile phone can create an artwork, can film a video, can film music, and sell it on the marketplace, exhibit it in the gallery, and have a word and have a say and an impact in the world. Because the blockchain space is really about individuals creating impact, taking ownership of their assets, and taking responsibility for their financial well-being, for the environment, and for the world, and for the lives. So this is it for my presentation today. Miro, would you like to?
Thank you very much, Irina. And let's also add Christina, who is our blockchain expert here. Perhaps Christina wants to start with some comments, and then we will give the floor to Domenico to present also our plans on working on the user interface and hackathons and this kind of things. So Christina, please.
Thank you very much, Miroslav. Thank you very much, Irina. It was really insightful, and I'm happy to see that the proof of stake technology is something that that is evolving, and the concepts that are greener are the ones that get more involved into the blockchain space. Even though I consider particularly important that even when we talk about proof of work, it also could have green agenda within these discussions, because, well, the question is which type of energy we use, and if it's renewable, it's totally different than when we use oil, gas, and carbon, of course, for mining. So this is also the problem that, in my opinion, recently is a very trendy discussion. I mean, Elon Musk, we know, is very concerned with climate recently, but I also have questions to his Teslas, because we never know what exactly, which sources does he use for Tesla. So I think this is a very interesting discussion, and it's great that technology has solutions within its development, but also there are some fundamental approach changes that in our minds that need to be made. So yes, I'm happy to give the floor to Domenico Vito now, who is a climate leader at Climate Reality European Union Team Italy, who will tell us more about another wonderful youth initiative.
Thank you very much, Christina. Yes, I'm Domenico Vito. I'm from Climate Reality Youth in Italy, and together with Miro and all the other partners of this amazing project that put at the center arts and digital arts and youth, we are like defining an event, but not only a series of events, I can say, towards the pre-COP that will happen in Italy. The first of that is an hackathon in which we want to engage youth and youth software developer to design and think about solutions for the interface of the whole system. And then also we are thinking about exhibit the piece of arts and digital piece of arts also here in Milan in September, probably because there is this great opportunity and this chance both of the pre-COP, but also I want to mention the Youth for Climate initiative. Properly today we have the names of the delegates, youth delegates that will be engaged in this amazing process. So thank you for this space, and really I have to thank Miroslav for the amazing work that is doing, and also for these great ideas I think that will radically change the way to implement climate action. So Miroslav, I will
Thank you very much, Domenico. It's really a pleasure working with you. And the background information, we've had yesterday meetings and visit of a venue of the Meet Digital Culture Center here in Milano. It's really an amazing place with an exhibit of currently from Refik Anadol, this artist that already Catherine and Priscilla mentioned. And we have spoken there with the Digital Culture Center leadership that they're very cooperative, and we will have an exhibit there. Timing we will see. We will try to have it as close to the pre-COP event as possible, and especially giving the young people who will come. There will come 400 people from 200 countries of the world to Milano, that they will also have a possibility to see this kind of art. And the other element that we are talking about is an edutainment show and the digital art auction show, which also could use the auditorium at the Meet Center and connect with simultaneous events at the different locations around the world. But in Austria, we'll try to connect with Ars Electronica, Glasgow, and other cities. And so that there will be interaction, and digital art has a very low carbon footprint in terms of exhibit, and so can be transferred and can be shown in different places, and then we can partner with the cities and the local communities, local NGO networks also, that there is an exhibit of global arts, a selection of global art combined with submission of local artists. And this we will try to bring these creators from around the world in an edutainment show, for which we will also seek then partnerships with TV broadcasters and this kind of things. Yeah, and Domenico, please.
Yes, if I can add one thing properly on the Meet Digital Center, we are probably in line, because most of them are very in the line of meeting digital arts with also climate change and climate action. And in fact, in the 14th of June, they are like hosting an exhibition that's called Ode Properly on biodiversity and climate change. So thank you very much also to the friends of the Meet Digital Center of Milan that are with you. Thank you.
Very good. And as we are talking about friends, let's also add Meg Kubo on the Music for SDGs project, really very passionate and visionary, and we will certainly also work with you and engage your networks. Please, Meg, tell us a little bit about Music for SDGs.
Yes, thank you very much. So can I share my screen? Okay.
You can share it, yes.
Okay.
It's coming.
Okay. Yeah. Is it okay? Can you?
Yes, it's okay.
You can see the screen. Okay. So thank you very much. I'm very honored to have this opportunity is to share our activities of the Music for SDGs project. And actually, I'm a project director for the Music for SDGs project, a project aiming to provide opportunities for general public to deepen understanding of SDGs through music and entertainment. And actually, I'm also working in APEC as the co-sherpa for the Sustainable Finance Development Network. So we work to promote ESG from the digital innovation as well as ESG investing. But I'm here today to represent Music for SDGs to share some activities using the music to work on that matter. And also I'd like to appreciate the Grocher and IAAI as a global partners to be with us, and also the Ms. Gloria Starkins as an ambassador, helping as a government liaisons to the United Nations community. So in terms of our focus, a lot of discussion today are highly relevant to our objective, the innovation to explore a new generation of entertainment with the use of virtual reality and new technology. We would like to have a revolutionary music event in the future. Digitalization to support sustainable music careers. So for example, to support the life and activities of our artists, the use of virtual finance and new technology will be very, very promising. Also education, to combine education and entertainment and aiming to enhance public awareness on SDGs. Entertainment, health, and art, a tremendous potential to actually deepen the education so that the children and the young people can learn about SDGs through this method. And also we need to connect hundreds of millions of people around the world through music and new technology. Is a very good measure to bring the people into one big community. So in terms of the activities, the Earth Day Music Festival took place in conjunction with International Earth Day. So we brought a lot of the artists from all over the world, and we had a 24-hour event together with Goshen IAAI. Usually we focus on the music, but since you're talking about digital art, I'd like to share some of the artwork which was included in the Earth Day Music Festival. So Ikebana is a group of artists who use fashion, beauty, and flower elements to reconstruct the interpretation of wabi-sabi, a unique Japanese culture, from a modern perspective. Actually, the ways to be, also the some lost flowers, those would be used to turn into a very beautiful art. Actually, the concept is to protect the environment, especially the importance of water, which make the earth beautiful and which make the people happy. And also the SDG Spiral is the NPO supporting the SDGs innovation and business activities usually, and they just bring the artists actually to use the art to enhance the awareness on the environmental issues. And also they are now working to send the footballs and also the attire to the children in Africa, leaving no one left behind, so that we can use the arts and sports and music actually to help the people and leaving no one left behind. So we contributed through the musical performance for the students around the world in actually 6 regions differently, and also the collaboration with the current and former ambassador to the United Nations with the courtesy of Miss Gloria Starkins, the Society and Development Review. And we are now planning to have an online music festival for SDGs back to United Nations high-level political forum, and focusing on the topics which are selected as a priority by the LHPF for this year, and bringing the panel discussion, also the beautiful arts. This is a list of the Japanese artists who have already confirmed. Now we are recruiting the artists from all over the world to join us on this beautiful matters. Teaming up with the music for climate justice, so there's a big event actually prepared to back to COP26 in collaboration with the Grammy Foundation. So we can use this actually to promote the climate actions through the music and event. And I think that there are a lot of area for collaboration. And also we team up with the Rotary Dare to Be Great e-club. So there are a number of so many young people around the world who are now working on how to make the very important solutions for the important topics, how we can connect hundreds of millions of people. So this is not whether you can, but this is how we can, because otherwise you cannot make the difference. So one example is the Future We Want songwriting contest, bringing the hundreds of millions voting in global. So this mechanism, you can educate the people, also getting the hundreds of millions of children participating in a global Read for Better World Readathon. So this idea is that the children, the hundreds of millions of the children is actually learning about SDGs, and then they speaking about the SDGs, and then the more they read and the more study, that will be bringing a lot of donations from the sponsors to actually change the life of the young people. So this is the last slide. The music for SDGs is always the welcoming to have collaborators, and also we are working on the supporting artists with disabilities project until the end of this month, as it's a crowdfunding. So all those 100 arts are actually done by those with disabilities, and I decided to use my business card with those arts. Actually, by exchanging business card, we can support artists with disabilities. And this is a kind of completion of my presentation. And thank you very much for this opportunity. Let's get together to bring together and build the future we want. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Christina, do you have a response to this?
Well, I'm just really fascinated to see that there are these wonderful projects. I know that now, with the advance of NFTs, NFT platforms try to help musicians and artists. And it was really a pleasure to learn about music for SDGs as well, because this is definitely a great convergence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm learning, I tried to learn 17 languages by the year 2030, and I started by learning Italian because of G20 presidency. So I'm very happy to work with you.
Wonderful.
Okay, great, Mac. And with this, we come to our final speaker, the best come at the end. Alex Caldas, UN country team leader, big data unit leader, and technology and innovation expert, who is also somehow involved in the World Environment Situation Room, together with Doug Reagan, developing new ideas on how youth and citizens in general can be engaged. And this is a high potential area which also deserves more support. And our Digital Art for Climate will create synergies and aims to channel support towards this program.
Thank you so much, Mira. Well, I feel, I have to confess, I feel coming as the more techie and less human presenter after listening for these incredible forms of bringing together the music, culture, and art, and just like Christina was referring to. So we in this game of the use of platforms and technology, as you are mentioning, Miro, a key element is partnership, because in today's era of where the volume, the variety, and the velocity with which the data changes is so big, that the only way to tackle these is through partnerships. And so I'd like my first words are more about enticing colleagues and institutions and organizations to come together to tackle these data deluge with partnerships, and the more we have, it's the only way to find a solution for these. In this regard, but even within this realm of data and technology, I want to share with you what we're trying to do on this situation room, because we look at the environmental crisis as an opportunity to bring together in a kind of a situation room, just like traditional military situation rooms, but here it will make more sense. Environmental friendly situation rooms. We're trying to bring together these all these elements of technology, but by the end I'll try to convince you that we're also trying to use some innovation to bring more humanity, a human sense to the way to use these platforms. Let me try to share. Can you confirm you can see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can see my screen. In this sense, last time I presented something like this. We're trying to bring into an electronic virtual situation room, the different ways that data can come together from the local crowds-based community, this is an example of a air visual monitoring system, monitoring air quality around the world, but it comes from crowdsourced data on the community. And then to bring live data such as CO2 concentration, bringing live data, as you can see, it comes really near real-time data, March, April 2021, where we try to bring these near real-time data together to the virtual situation room. It can be CO2 concentration because it impacts, of course, on the health of humans, but it can be the global temperature. And we can see never as now, we have had average global temperatures, and we can see here 4 different sources from NASA to the Japanese agency, 4 different sources, but we have a global trend on the global increase in average temperatures. So the key message here is the more we can bring into the situation room, the real-time or near real-time data, the better. And then the next step now is how, as it becomes immense, this volume, how to search to find ways to have easy ways to search for data, which is more human. So if you're looking, just like in a library, if you're looking for something on climate change, you want these to be easy to use, such as you will do, and you can immediately see from my screen that you can have results on publications, but you can get results coming from a myriad of other elements. Let me just show you here. We're trying to build our specific search engine in order that finding data coming from web pages, such as the emissions on climate change, is as easy to come and to find than coming to data coming from publications, data or UNEP publications on climate change, or external publications coming on climate change. So one area that we have been investing a lot is these search mechanisms that will allow an easy way to find information in these data lakes of information that change every second. What I'm going, the more traditional ways would be a digital library archive, as we're trying to do here. But the more we dig into the use of this technology and innovation, the more you'll find difficult, and sometimes it needs a lot of technicality to come to find easily the various forms of information. Now, what we try to think, but how can we bring, for instance, artificial intelligence, these kind of more humane ways of dealing with technology to the environment situation room? How can we go in that direction? And we had a project inside UNEP where we tried to do a kind of human-computer interface to the data. And what I'm going to show you is still at the very early ages of what we intend to do. But in the future, that's the way we envision the interaction between humans and the technology and on finding information. Let me just try to, I hope you can hear.
Can you tell me how to think about food waste and how I can find the best legislation about it?
Tell me who you are and what you need.
I'm Alfred Jones. I'm a European legislator, and I want to compare how different countries here legislate to stop food being thrown away by supermarkets.
Hi Alfred, I'm Abdullah. Right, it's terrible that so much is still wasted and even deliberately destroyed even though not wanted. Did you know half the grown fruit and vegetables in the whole world goes uneaten? And France has a law that supermarkets must offer unwanted food to charities for free distribution so as to stop this kind of thing?
No, that's good to hear. Can you show me how different EU countries deal with this?
Yes, here on our site is a table of the different levels of European enforcement of distribution of unwanted food.
That's just the kind of thing I need. I want to pressure all countries here to behave as well as the best.
Excellent. That's exactly what the UN wants to encourage. Can you give us some details so we can contact you later with programs?
Of course. I will show you how to find us easily after this conversation.
Thank you. One of our agencies will be in touch about how we can exchange information.
Thanks so much. Goodbye.
We are here to help. Goodbye.
What I've just shown you is a human, an attempt to symbolically demonstrate how human and computers and technology could interact in a much more human-friendly way. This was on food waste, but we have another example on pollution. You can see that the elements of multicultural approaches, different kinds of communities, different kind of topics. So on the pollution side, let's see how it could be.
Can I talk to you?
Of course, I'm here to help.
I'm a citizen of the US and would like to know what the UN is doing about some awful pollution I've just seen.
I will try to help. Will you tell me your name?
Yes, it's Marie.
Hi Marie, I'm Sarah. What is it that has got to you?
I've just seen a picture of a turtle with blue plastic coming out of its mouth. It was awful.
You are right to be alarmed. Look at this animal from our UN website.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's worse than that. Did you know there is a floating island of garbage, mostly plastic, out in the Atlantic Ocean bigger than most US states? Just look at this.
That's amazing. What can I do? I'm just a citizen with an ordinary life.
Come into our website and see how you can help change things. It is actually easy to use, and here is a good place to start.
You mean like more recycling?
Not just that. Try asking stores to take off the packaging for you and leave it there, like they do in Germany. You can educate your local stores.
What a great idea. What else can I do?
You can tell your friends about the United Nations and encourage them to sign up for local initiatives you can reach through our site.
I will. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Marie. Thank you for getting in touch with us.
I will stop sharing now. So basically, I hope I try to bring together to you ideas that we have put forward to humanize and to get new interactive forms of interrogation of data and information, in order that the distance between what could be a human interaction on the use of data and information for actually acting, it can become much more streamlined. The next steps, this is a team that we have been working with, working on human-computer interaction at the University of Sheffield and Oxford. And the next steps is to bring the partnership with Google in order that some of the elements of artificial intelligence can be brought in to have the next generation of environmental situation rooms. I hope I didn't bother you. So this is to bring together how we look at new forms of culture to interact with data in ways that are much more innovative and proximate to humans than used to be in the past. So over to you, Mira, and it's glad to be here.
Wow, very impressive, Alex. And
Mira, you are robotized, at least for me. I think you are becoming an artificial intelligence. Nope, it's still AI. Yeah.
I hope it was not coming from my screen and move to you, Mira.
Mira, it's still really bad. Can you maybe, I don't know, restart the mic? Is it an internal microphone or strange? Well, I like this impacts, that are happening within the screens. Or maybe it's just that your computer is overwarmed, It's okay. Global warming. Maybe you can write and I will read it out.
Okay, so I will join my mobile phone that this will
I can promise you, Miro, that I was not the one hacking your systems, and my characters did not move there to your screen.
No, I don't know. I'm joining
So, can you hear me better now? Okay, then let's do it this way. So, because I would like to say how important our cooperation is, and share with the audience also that we have now started forming a partnership, an MOU with UN Environment and UN Habitat. And it's really UN Environment has the biggest capacity within the UN system in terms of data and digital infrastructure in general. And also in the comment section, Richard Jordan, our friend from New York, highlighted the CODES group which has been formed recently about digital futures. And so it's very important to have this cooperation when we are setting up the Global Challenges Action Empowerment System, that we partner with the capacities of the UN system. And the other element that I wanted to share is that we are on the one hand looking at action for climate empowerment, is about mitigation and forward-looking climate action to prevent climate catastrophe. But at the same time, we need also to have this cooperation with the World Environment Situation Room to have early warning mechanisms and really to have mechanisms to respond to climate change induced emergencies around the world. And here we need the data, we need also resource mobilization mechanisms so that the global community will channel resources to act on emergencies. And here the World Environment Situation Room is really a wonderful platform, and congratulations to the great work that you are doing, and we will try to contribute and also mobilize financial resources with the DigitalArt4Climate initiative to get even on a higher level and getting entry points for youth all over the world in all cities, and having also devices and apps on everyone's mobile devices to engage in this. So these are my thoughts on this. And to Christina, I guess you will also have thoughts on this.
Thank you very, very much, Miroslav. And thank you, Alexander. That was really insightful. And I think a very important highlight here is that apart from the technological implementation, we need always to be sensible to educating new generations and using all available resources to promote this important agenda, to educate people and to change this social schemes that maybe are too well based already into the society. It's not so obvious to change this imagined order that we've all created. So it's great that there are so many great minds, real ones and artificial ones, working together on bringing a greener and more sustainable future to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miro. I think just to emphasize that we'll be very much willing to collaborate and to cooperate with you. What Christina just said is that the more we can start to educate and create minds of change, the young, and we have Doug now with us, and he's an expert on bringing the youth to engage and to make sure that that happens very early in time. So, but you can count with us to collaborate with you in any way possible to make it happen. Probably avoiding that artificial agents take over our brilliant minds as youth minds that are much more prone to act. So over to you. So you have our cooperation in our regards.
Doug, please, you are also World Environment Situation Room partner. Please share also some concluding remarks, and then we will close today's webinar.
Well, thanks. I mean, this is, sorry, I've been in and out here, but this has been a really fascinating conference, and I've learned so much about NFTs and all this kind of stuff that I had never known before. So I'm really excited, and I think as Alexander is saying, I mean, there's what we're trying to do is kind of bring the science together with people, and one of the vehicles, obviously, of that is with young people, because young people are so passionate, they are so involved and engaged, and so yeah, and the kind of the partnership with UN Habitat and UNEP is, yes, there's the World Environmental Situation Room, which is an online platform, which is kind of the data and the brains of UNEP. The other side of it is the what we're calling the Climate Change Maker program, which is basically taking the young leaders already doing this. So we're not arrogant enough to think that we are the ones initiating this. This is a train that's already left the station. These guys are moving. What we're trying to do is just to increase their capacity to do it better. And that we have, again, being with the UN, have a strong focus on the Global South, a very strong focus on young women, because that has been the people that have come forward in this climate change movement. Greta Thunberg is the obvious, but then if you look at all what I call her lieutenants globally, her message is one of not just of pure environmental climate changes, of democracy and hope, bringing things together, and everyone having to do this. So we have a really strong focus on that, and we're developing a curriculum. Initially, actually, this was supposed to be just one big conference. We were supposed to do one of our donors out of Spain, but sometimes the good part of, you can say this pandemic and the horrors that has happened, there are some silver linings, and one of those silver linings is that this online digital thing means we can expand and move and create things that are possibly more sustainable, because we're putting a huge amount of effort into curriculum and training and so on. So it's quite exciting. We're hopefully in the next, Alex and I are crossing our fingers, in the next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, that things are going to kickstart. And then we'll have both sides. We'll have the technology, the data and such, curated in a way that allows everyone access, and we'll have the young people and be training them and such. And then this process that you're looking at now, as I said off the top, the potential of art being a way that young people, especially in the poorest of young people, I gave the examples of informal settlements, are able to fundraise and be able to find a sustainable way to survive on one hand, like their livelihoods, but as well as a sustainable way to engage in the climate change movement and the larger movements, I think is quite exciting. So I was really excited to hear about what people felt was the ease of digitalization and the ease of creating NFTs and such, which has always been, oftentimes technology is put forward and then we don't recognize the barriers, and there's still huge barriers. I mean, there's still 400+ million young people that have not had online school, and so there's no assumptions that there are. So, I mean, I think in kind of the closing, I think as Alex and I both coming from the United Nations system, there's the phrase, leave no one behind. We say leave no youth behind. And so that's really what we're looking at, is leaving no one behind, assuring that we bring everyone along with this movement that we're doing. So thank you so much, and thank everyone for joining. This has been really great. Thanks.
Yeah, and may I give also Domenico a concluding remark opportunity?
Thank you very much, Miro. I'm really glad to have heard all your intervention, and also like being part of this great webinar. Being a climate activist, having a computer science background, and also being a musician, I'm very pleased to collaborate and to join with this great project, because it's important also to foster the climate action and to implement also with new ways. It's very important because it's our future, and involving the youth in this process is essential, because they are also part of the solution, are not just bringers of need, but they also have the innovative vision on thinking new solution to implement climate action. Thank you very much. It's been a very great pleasure.
Thank you very much, Domenico. And just a brief information about the next steps. So we will have between the 10th and the 17th of July, we will have the hackathon in collaboration with Domenico, and it will be also held somehow as some kind of partnering event of the Action for Climate Empowerment Youth Forum that the younger constituency within the UN FCCC process, the working group on ACE, is organizing. And after that hackathon, we will be in the position to really make it possible for artists to register their art and somehow commit in our partnership. And so please look out for the hashtag DigitalArt4Climate. We will provide more information about the hackathon, about the engagement opportunities for artists and software developers and local communities, digital arts centers, and so in due course, and we will have the next milestone then end of September here in Milan. We will see how much we will have ready by then, but then the next milestone is also the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP26 in November, early November this year, and there again we will be present. We will try to have a digital art exhibit also in Glasgow, perhaps also within the negotiations zone. And so these are our plans, and together we will be able to achieve it. We have seen our wonderful partners, and talking about wonderful partners and wonderful people, I'm giving back to Christina to conclude.
Thank you very much, Miroslav. Thank you very much, Douglas, Alexander, all our wonderful speakers, and especially you who've watched the webinar today. I think it's very important to see how many different wonderful projects are there in the world, and to see that technological progress is not only about consuming resources, but actually about creating sustainable future for the economy and for all of our lifestyle. So thank you very much. I wish you all good luck. Green year, open borders, and let's hope that the Conference of Parties will also bring us all together in person, and many other events will be with a more green agenda and attitude. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
All the best to everyone.
Thanks.
And thanks.